Klopp. Your assessment of the impact he's made.
I liked what I saw. All sort of for the last week, 10 days since he's had the job, we've been reading and hearing about what he was about, what he was like, you know, talking about pressing, how much distance they want to cover, and very rarely do you see a manager sort of stamp his authority on a team on day one, and that's what he did. And I think that what we should look at is the two different types of pressing in this game. I think the first one we should start with is transition, which is a massive thing for Jurgen Klopp after he's done, and looks like it's going to be a really big thing for this Liverpool team as well now. And it's when you lose the ball. And we see Klein here now loses the ball, and we stop it there. Now, normal practice for every team would be that. These three players getting involved in pressing the ball. There's nothing different about that. What you wouldn't expect is Lucas Leiva here. You wouldn't expect him to move on. I wouldn't. You think you're in a fine position there, you stay there. The same old Coutinho. If he was going to move, I would expect that. Now, this is something Jurgen Klopp likes. As soon as you lose the ball, 4 or 5 players, as soon as you go, get round the player on the ball. And look at this now for Lucas Leiva. And Coutinho pressing in there. That's the difference. These type of things you don't normally see from certain teams. There, stop it now. You've got 4 or 5 players around that ball. Now, a big thing for him is, if he wins that ball, he sees a transition as a great opportunity to score a goal. A lot of teams get on the ball and play that. If they can win that ball there, but they don't. They lose out now. But as soon as they lose the ball, you can see the message is, we're going to keep pressing until we win it, or they have to do that clear at home. There's another instance now. And as that ball stops now, you already see Lucas Leiva on his way to press. James Milner, as you'd expect, coming in there. Two sort of hard-working players you'd expect to do that job. They stop them playing forward, they look to switch it out. This player again. That's all good. You can see that's been working the first 2 or 3 days in training. As soon as they lose that ball, they press, but also continue there again. A normal wide player would maybe stay there, could be a position, but he's being told press, get across, don't let them switch play. He doesn't quite make it again. Emre Can, I would normally expect the midfield player to fill that position across there. He goes straight in there. So when you say what was the difference, these are things that you don't see from every team. We've seen them now and again, but someone sprinting across there to put someone under pressure. In an area in his own half, midway through, he presses. Look at that. He's coming across. That's Lallana, who's just been here and sprinted across there again. So as soon as the ball's in transition, he moves the ball and he presses and he got on top of it. And that was impressive for me, what we saw in the past with the Jurgen Klopp, and we've seen it from day one. We're going to look at the stats that everyone spoke about over the weekend and how far they go. I'm not telling them anything new, but the distance there, 106 games in the first game, at Spurs, and 180 is the average for Liverpool. The best way of putting it, that's like Liverpool having an extra man on the pitch in terms of pressing and defending. A normal player will learn to cover 10 kilometres in a game. That's what you get. That's what it's like. An extra man on that pitch. But the one below is the big one. You speak to coaches, sports science, whatever it may be. The big thing in football is sports science. And how quickly you can get people to press people at high intensity. And this is what a Liverpool team can wear under the coach. Maybe have 30% possession, 40%, and we're chasing the ball. Liverpool had more possession than Spurs, and they still covered that amount of ground. This is a different press now. We spoke about transition. This is a more sort of way that you see maybe a lot of teams. You're not going to press. Shine goes to press. Now, okay, we've got time and space on the ball. And you see that organisation now. What I like, and we always speak about with teams who are very good defenders and difficult to play against, is how compact they are. There is what we said before about Manchester United last season, 30-35 metres between back to front, that's what you want. What I also liked is the fact that you go with a back four, as we all expected, but these players here, Milner is playing the position he thinks suits it, tucked in on the right, Lucas in between 2 central midfield players either side, and Emre Can central. And the 2 floating players in Lallana and Coutinho. Now, he could have easily asked Lallana to play there and chase a full-back, or Coutinho to play there and chase a full-back, but he didn't. He played players in the positions that they're more suited to and still got them to press. And again, I think you'll see the work in those first 2 or 3 days on the training pitch. That ball's not going back there. It's coming here. That comes from Origi. He's done fantastically well, sort of impressing and using his energy at times and setting the traps for them. As that ball comes across, Milner goes, Klein goes. Now, that's not something that other teams don't do, but it's brilliant to see it in that first day in the organisation. What we can see now again here is the role of Coutinho and Lallana was to stop passes going through the middle of the pitch. It was to force Tottenham wide all the time. Now, I want you to just keep an eye on Philip Coutinho. Really subtle movements. He's going across and he checks. Now, he just stops. Because obviously they've worked, we don't want any balls going through there. Force that wide and then press. This is what you can see the organisation, even though he's only had 3 or 4 days with the team, that's what they've worked on straight away. And you could see signs straight away. Coutinho sprinting across, coming in behind him, and again they win the ball. Now, watching that, Liverpool were very poor with the ball. That'll have to improve, of course. But I think if you ask the Tottenham players this morning, did you enjoy playing in that game? I think it'd been a nightmare for them, that type of press. And I think who Liverpool come up against now, they'll be looking at that and thinking, we're in for a right game against Liverpool. It's going to be a very, very tough, and it's not going to be an enjoyable game, I think, playing against Liverpool now if they continue to press like that, which I believe that they will. And talking about Jurgen Klopp over the last few days, and we've heard it mentioned that all he's done is run around. Every team should do that. Every team doesn't do that. He's coming on day one, and they've had more sprints and more sort of covered more distance than anyone else. And if it was that easy, why doesn't everyone do it? You know, so you can't continually sort of throw that at him. He's coming on day one, and he's done it.
I think for me, I mean, look, his Dortmund team was sensational in terms of the pressing, the work rate. It was wonderful to watch, and they had quality as well. I think there's interesting. One is that these are the managers who basically had the first games over the last couple of years. And if you look at the stats there, Klopp is at the top of them. But those 7, there's 8 of them who basically had new managers in first games. There is definitely a bounce effect when a new manager gets a job. You look at Alan Pardew, Crystal Palace, John Carver replacing Alan Pardew at Newcastle. Big uplift in running stats. This one over here, I have to say, is off the scale. The 640, let's undo that and let you show it here again. That is off the scale compared to the rest. 139 more is absolutely off the scale in terms of his sprint. So we all know that Jurgen Klopp, in terms of the last 10 days, we've heard enough about it. I think one thing I would say is, or a couple of things I would say is, it was a perfect storm. First game, 0-0. How would a goal affect it? New manager, is it sustainable? But Jurgen Klopp has set himself a target of winning the league in the next 4 seasons. I suppose a question really, is that sustainable? English football, more games, different players with more quality who have to come in, all those challenges that are going to present itself. It's intriguing. I question whether it's the right tactic. It's never been won a league like that. Mourinho, Wenger, Ferguson, Mancini, Pellegrini don't play football like that. Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, all those games that are going to come. That's the intriguing. Is it maintainable? Is it achievable to continue to do it?
Do you think? I don't think that's a bounce. You're talking about a manager coming in and it being a bounce. I don't think that is a bounce. I think that's a style change. I think Liverpool
I agree with you, but there's a bit of bounce in there as well.
Yeah, but I think some people have mentioned that if Liverpool can do this run, why have they always been doing it? And maybe saying, well, they must have been doing the work under Brendan Rodgers. It's not. It's not about that. That is a style change. It's different. Every manager has his own thing that he really believes in.
Are there different challenges then for him to continue to keep doing that?
Well, the challenges are for you see that team. A lot of them you'd think Lallana, Milner, and even Origi up front. The running he's done. I think if you look here now, the challenge for them is Liverpool are not scoring goals. Now, Origi done a good job defensively, pressing people, but in Sturridge and Benteke, and especially Sturridge, that's where you're hoping you're going to get your goals from and your quality from. Now, what Origi did at the weekend compared to these two, And these are the best these Sturridge and Benteke have ever done. And you look at the average distance compared to what Origi produced, and also the sprints are massively down. Now, can Jurgen Klopp get Sturridge and Benteke to buy into that? Well, 5 or 6 of the players covered more distance than they've ever done in that game. And I think he's a type of manager who demands it. Now, that's not to say I think he's going to put Sturridge on the bench because he doesn't maybe cover that distance, but he will expect that to come from. It may not be getting up to Origi, but those players will have to do that, or eventually they won't play, or they will move on. Now, initially, he will have to play them because you've got injuries, you've got no other players, but I think he will be expecting those players to buy into it, and they'll have to if they want to stay at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp.
A couple of managers I played under, I mean, of course they wanted players to work hard, but there was always your centre forward, leave your energy for on the ball, leave your energy for when we need the ball. Origi can do that. Daniel Sturridge and Benteke is certainly more efficient in the work, but they've got more quality than Origi, and that is the intriguing factor.
Isn't that what we've both argued for years? Why is it that top players shouldn't be doing that amount of work? Why shouldn't they be?
Wingers, definitely. I think that when you talk about centre forwards, yeah, I would agree, but your Suarez of this world who can do it, Tevez, Rooney can certainly do it. But then you think about, say, Aguero as an example, he couldn't do that. He'd pull his hamstring every 10 minutes if he did that. Ruud van Nistelrooy couldn't do that. So I think there's certain aspects to who can do it and who can't do it, and that's the interesting. Can you get players with more quality who aren't that type of player?
Listen, the big thing is for me, let's look at Dortmund. Now he's coming into a country, there's no winter break and there's a lot more games, and there's only one season here where Dortmund actually played more games than Liverpool. Now you look at the Liverpool games there in a Premier League season, normally playing mid-50s. You look at the seasons, even Dortmund there in times when they were top of the league, mid-40s, it's a big difference. You're talking 10 or 15 games, no winter break. How is he going to be able to keep that going? That is going to be the thing for him. I think he'll have to rotate. That's going to be a massive challenge for him being in a different country, especially without the winter break.
I think, no winter break, playing every 3 days, playing 10 games more, having to change personnel with more quality. I think they're challenges that are going to unfold over this next few weeks, but it's going to be interesting to watch.